Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, give all praise. It's the Most High, Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother, who is wisdom, who is the Holy Spirit. Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Prayer to the Most High blesses this lesson this afternoon. Gives more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past in order to understand the events that are currently happening on the earth, so we may get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. Things are coming together rather quickly. And things are coming together, I think, rather quickly for the understanding of the Gentile nations. They're realizing that things are not continuing or not going to continue the way that they thought that they were going to. Many of the things that they have been told, they're realizing are not the truth. So we've been talking about these viruses that are coming out here, this coronavirus and everything else, and it matching much more of the plagues of the Bible, plagues of the Hebrew history. And we've been talking about that, but now even some of the other nations are talking about that as well. I wanted to start by playing a little clip from AMTV right here. Just going to play a little clip of a video that I saw a little bit of yesterday, where they're going to admit that what they're seeing sounds a lot more like biblical plagues and biblical, things to come, punishment on the earth. So we're going to listen to a couple of minutes while Christopher Green here talks about, what he's seen and what these plagues are looking like. And, many people have been talking about these plagues, but see, many of the other nations have had it in their mind that they're going to be raptured away. They're going to be protected, that these plagues are not going to touch them and all of that. But they've forgotten about the fact that the power that they serve has already given them their blessings. And we're going to get into a couple of books. One, actually a primary source of the Spaniards. And when did Caesarea start being worshipped here and start being pushed on the land? We're going to skip through the middleman, and we're going to go straight to the primary source and the people that were actually doing it, and let them tell you themselves how they were doing it. But first, let's just take a real quick listen here to Christopher Green. Get nice and loud so you guys can hear it.
I'm Christopher Green. You're watching AMTV Alternative Media Television. Please share this message with your friends and family. In the Holy Bible, we hear about pestilences, we hear about disease, we hear about famine, we hear about fire and brimstone, wars, and rumors of wars. And now we have something that appears to be, in my humble opinion, and I think many of you would agree with me, a biblical plague. And we saw this with the Black Death, where killed most of the population of Europe. We saw this with a very deadly flu virus that spread, not just in Europe, but in the United States, when the soldiers came home from a world war in 1918. And now we're seeing it today, a bubonic plague-like virus that many describe its properties matching much more like a biological weapon than it does a organic viral infection. And this is the coronavirus. And no, it's not a drinking game at an Arizona State house party.
You can continue watching the video if it interests you. It's just funny how we get into Jesus, and then we switch over to Bitcoin and making money. But hey, whatever. That's his station, whatever he wants that. But he does give some information, some news. But, and I just concentrate on the news part, and everything else, I just skip. At this point, if you're still worried about making money and setting yourself up after, all hell breaks loose, I said your priorities and your vision is in the wrong place. And many now are seeing these plagues being unleashed. There's no way people are going to be able to prep, because if these are things that Most High controls everything. Now, when you're thinking about this, a lot of these other nations should be thinking. When you're looking at the Bible, you're looking at the Bible, you're looking at the plagues. The Most High doesn't change. These things repeat themselves over and over again. So now you better get the people that are actually the characters of this script. You better get this information down pat pretty quick. Okay? Because now it's about figuring out who are the plagues coming for, who is the Most High trying to redeem. When you're looking at Egypt, the Most High was upset with the Egyptians because the Egyptians had his children, in captivity. And after their time and their time of punishment was over with, the Most High wanted his children to be released from their captivity. They talk about a biblical plague, but they never get into, well, why were these plagues brought on the world? Why were these plagues brought on all these different people? That's what the other nations, and that's what even today people are not getting to. The Most High is not bringing this to bear just because he feels like it. There's always a method to everything that's going on. Now, his children have been in captivity for over 500 years. Most High wants his children to be released. He wants their lands to be released. He wants everything given back to his people. They refuse to do that. So then when they refuse to do that, what does the Most High do? What did he do in Egypt? He brought what? He brought plagues. Now all of a sudden, these other people are now seeing these viruses coming on the earth, and now they're comparing them to the Bible, but they don't take the next step to say, okay, well, why are these plagues coming? The plagues are coming because the Most High's people have served their punishment, have served their time. And the whole world, the vast majority of the people in the world, refuse to figure out who the Most High's people are. Okay, and they like it's not important, which has always been important because it was important in the Bible. It was important in all these movies you guys have made, and it's important now. But you want to make sure that you know exactly who the Most High is coming to protect and coming to restore, and who He's coming to destroy, so that you're not aligned with the wrong faction. And the vast majority of the world is still aligned with the wrong faction. They are following the wrong group. The wrong group looks appealing. The wrong group looks like what you have been, brainwashed to believe is the godly group. And the wrong group makes you think things like you can have everything here. You can ignore the Most High's chosen people. You can get all the perks for the last 500 years. And then at the end of that, once you start to see plagues on the earth, then that your God is now going to take you away from all of the death and destruction that the real power is getting ready to bring on the earth. So you get people that come up with things like this. Is the coronavirus the timestamp that marks the year of the rapture? If anyone's getting moved, it's going to be his chosen people who are going to be put in their land of Goshen while all hell is breaking loose around them, just like it did in the scriptures. And it talks about how Most High is going to, in Isaiah 14:1, how the Most High is going to choose Israel and He's going to put them back in their place. And it's also going to be Gentiles that are going to be cleaving to them that are going to be taken to their place as well. So Hebrew or not, you want to make sure that you know what's really going on, who's who, and who the Most High is dealing with, and who He's not dealing with. See, these people, most people you look at on social media, YouTube, TV, they're not telling you who the real power is and who the real power is dealing with. You're still stuck using the power of the Spaniards. The Spaniards brought the God that you use, that most of the vast majority of the world follows today. Okay? The Spaniards brought that mess over here. Now, if you're running around here with your crosses, with your rosaries, if you're going to church on Sunday, you're celebrating Christmas, you're celebrating Easter, I don't care how you twist it up and call it whatever, you're celebrating the gods of the Spaniards. This God gave them dominion over our lands. This God blessed them for the last 500 years. And what's crazy is now even our people are waking up and they still won't let the Spaniards' God go. They're still trusting in that Spaniard God to save them. And he has no power to do so. And we're going to take a look real quick at it now. Unless you're a Spaniard or a European, okay? I said, he has nothing to do with you. He was forced on you. And I'm going to show you that. Brother sent me a couple of pictures and I wanted to share them with you. Thank you for sharing this with the nation. You guys are going to see this again. It's a Life and Voyages of Christopher Columbus by Washington Irving. But he has a different edition than I do, maybe. But it doesn't matter because this information is very vital right here. Okay? Right here. It was a custom with Columbus and all remarkable places which he visited to erect crosses in conspicuous situations to denote the discovery of the country and its subjugation, okay, to the true faith. He ordered a large cross of wood, therefore, to be elevated on the bank of this river. This was done on a Sunday morning with great ceremony and the celebration of a solemn mass. Okay? So if you're talking about going to church on Sunday, you're talking about going to having mass, if you're talking about worshiping white Jesus, you are pretty much aligned yourself with the Spaniards who came over here, rape, rob, murder, and destroy the Most High's chosen people on their lands. If you cannot tear yourself away from that, then the punishment that they're about to get is about to go to everyone that has aligned themselves with this religion, with this group. The Father now is not coming back to be nice, to act like, we're just gonna skip around, play around, whatever else. He's not doing that anymore. The Most High is now coming back to restore his land and his people. So like I said, it's what's coming on the earth now. I said is nothing to be playing around with. As you can already tell with these plagues that are already coming. So if you're still stuck on white Jesus, just know that the Father is coming to destroy that idol. That idol has already ran its course. He's had his fun, and it's all done for him. That's why now you're starting to see all these things happening right now. Okay, all this time right now. So the white Jesus has played out, had his 500 years, had his run, and now we got all these people still, wanting to go ahead and continue with this, thinking that he's going to save them from what's to come. As you can see, there's already a couple of things at play right now. You got Caesarea, who already gave his blessing for the last 500 years. Now the real power is on his way. He's already making overtures to everyone, letting them know that he's on his way. He's already sent out a plague. He's already sending out bats all over the place. He's sending out earthquakes all over the place. He's raising up his people to tell you the truth. He's giving you all of the warning that you need right now. He's even now empowering us to be able to show you in your own records that white Jesus was made up by the Spaniards. Now, unless you're a Spaniard, that's your religion. Everyone else, that has nothing to do with you. And now is the time to, if you're going to make a move and try to get away from, following, if the Most High is calling you to move and get away from that, I would suggest now is the time to do so. Okay? Now, a primary source we're going to get into real quick. This one. And I want to thank the family again, the nation. I said, this information that's coming out right here is not just by me. This is also, our nation coming together, bringing our resources together so that we can purchase books like this, so that we now maybe bring this information to everyone. So to everyone who's been donating and helping out, these are the kinds of things that you're going to see right now. These kinds of books, you know, said because a lot of our nation, a lot of our information is not just hidden here in America. It's hidden all over the world, and it needs to be found and searched out. And once we actually have the opportunity to buy it, we need to make sure we have the money to be able to purchase these kinds of things real quick, because they can be gone really quick. Well, check this part. This book is called The True History of the Conquest of Mexico by Captain Bernal Diaz de Castillo, one of the conquerors, written in the year of 1568. Okay? Translated from the original Spanish by Maurice Keating, Esquire, okay, in 2 volumes. And he did that in 1803, but it was written in 1568. So this was one of the conquerors that was with Cortez. So you're gonna wait till you see some of the stuff that they were exposed to as soon as they got off the boat by the natives that were already here. This is one thing right here, just to show you all these people who are running around here with your crosses, with your rosaries, going to your Spanish masses. This was something that has nothing to do with your tradition. This was forced on your ancestors, and now we got people all the way till today, following these churches, following these traditions like they were theirs forever, and they haven't been. Let's see here. The Mexican nobleman, being very inquisitive to know the meaning of this, Cortez hinted to the Reverend Father Bartolome the propriety of a sermon such as should convey to them the truths of our holy faith. So he's trying to get them to lay down their faith and follow theirs, okay? Just like they do today, okay? Fray Bartolome accordingly preached like an excellent theologian, which he was, explaining the mysteries of the cross at the fight, at the site of which the evil beings they worshipped as gods fled away. These subjects and much more were dilated upon, and it was perfectly explained to and understood by the Mexicans, or the Mexicans will be the natives, okay, who promised that they would relate all they had seen and heard to their sovereign. He also declared to them that amongst the principal objects of our mission thither were those of putting a stop to human sacrifices, injustices, and idolatrous worship, and then presenting them with an image of our Holy Virgin with her Son in her arms. He desired them to take it with them, to venerate it, and to plant crosses familiar or similar to that before them in their temples. So already here, they said that we want to get you rid of your guys' your idol worship, but then here's another idol. That was their whole mission, supposedly, was to present them with an image. Well, to get rid of their idolatrous worship. So they pretty much just wanted them to take away their idols, and then he gave them an idol, which would be their Holy Virgin and her Son in her arms. So he just wanted you to switch one idol to another. But their idol, their Jesus, was blessing them. Their Jesus was giving them their blessing at that time. Was now ready to give them their 500-year run on our lands, and pretty much wanting us to worship that and pretty much venerate that. Pretty much, so we would pretty much just be worshiping their God, giving their God power in order to keep us subjugated unto them. And that's exactly what you see all the way till today. You see many Hebrews still going to these churches, still praying to their God, pretty much empowering their power to keep our people subjugated to them. That's exactly what you're seeing. Well, that's what we've been seeing. But now we're seeing the Most High waking up his people. And we're seeing the Most High actually moving now and bringing these plagues. And now these people are seeing that these plagues are actually, it's not run-of-the-mill, flu. It's something way, way more sinister than that. Because usually, like I said before, if it's something that they're in control of and, that's not that bad, they'll put it out there like, hey, we're going to get through this. We're super strong. We're going to get through this. We're going to, nothing's stronger than us. If it's something that they can't control, they do their best to try to hide it. They try to hide what's going on. They try to give other distractions so that you don't realize the fact that the Most High is already working. Now, like I said, if you're still going to these churches on Sundays, you're still worshiping white Jesus, and you're still there saying things like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he looks like. Well, that's okay. If that's what you want to say, if that's what you want to believe, that's fine. But just know you're worshiping Cesare Borgia. You're worshiping the God of the Spaniards. You're worshiping the God that gave the Spaniards free reign um, over your inheritance for the last 500 years. The God that they serve was the one that, empowered those dogs to destroy your family. Those are the ones that made it so they could split up your families and sell, your family piecemeal to whoever, to the highest bidder. You're going to churches to honor the God that they set up, that they prayed to, and that they thanked to be able to do these kinds of things to your ancestors. Because that's exactly what they set up. They set up their own gods in our temples. They wanted us to go ahead and do it do it ourselves. But if they didn't, they just went ahead and did it once they took our people down. So they would take down our temples, they would take down our places, and they would set up their own churches there. That's why in Cholula they have all these Catholic churches built on top of all the pyramids that were there. So I want to say over 300 churches on top of the 300 plus pyramids that were already in Cholula. Because that's exactly what they've done. They just erected their own temples above ours. And this book right here, written in the 1560s, tells you that all that began when the Spaniards got here. So if you want to keep, believing in the Spaniards, believing in the people that were sent over here to destroy you, if you want to keep believing in their God, you keep doing that. Just know that there's now going to be consequences, and now you can see the consequences already arising. Those things you're going to have to pay, the consequences you're going to have to pay, are already showing up. Many people have, they've been able to just, live their lives and don't worry about the consequences because they didn't see anything changing. But now, what's going to happen when these plagues start to hit here? What's going to happen then? All of a sudden, then people are going to want to go to church, right? And where are they going to run to? Oh, you're going to run to white Jesus. You're going to run to your Catholic church, your Christian church. So you're going to pray to the God that actually was prayed to destroy your ancestors, and you think you're somehow going to get something positive out of that? See how the devil's got you in a real trip bag now. Got you, I said now you got you. So you're going to pray to who? Who are you going to pray to now? Because you're going to see what they're doing now is this, which is pretty hilarious if you think about it. They're going to have you go to their temple and pray to their God that has been blessing them for the last 500 years to stay on top of you. That's what you're going to go pray to. Because you haven't opened your Bibles, you haven't read anything, you don't know much of anything, you don't really know the truth. So what's going to happen now? You see? That's how the devil's got it so that even if you want to go chase after the Most High, you won't be able to. Because then the ones who actually have the knowledge, understanding, who are trying to show you, the truth, you won't listen to them because they don't look like your white Jesus. Because you've been pretty much brainwashed to believe that anyone of color is unworthy of you listening to. And so the Most High is like, either you're going to worship who the Most High, you're going to follow whoever the Most High has raised up, or you will just suffer the consequences with everyone else. And now what you're seeing is this. They've prayed for 500 years for Cesare to bless them. And Cesare has been given blessings for the last 500 years. Now the true power is starting to show up and starting to manifest themselves. And the other nations know that they can't contend with the true power. So what are they praying for now? They're praying to be whisked away in a rapture. Because they know that the real power is coming. And they know that the power they've been praying to, white Jesus, doesn't exist. The person that gave you the 500 years that you had to pretty much destroy the Most High's people and his land is the same power that's now coming to take that power away. And that's what you haven't told all these people. You haven't told all these people that have been worshiping your fake God that there's actually going to be consequences to that, and there's actually going to be a payment due at the end. And they don't want to pay, so that's why they now want to get raptured away. But like I said, the real power that's coming that controls everything, this is what he's going to say now. And that's what he's saying right now already with these plagues that are already starting to manifest themselves. Proverbs 1:26. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind. When distress and anguish cometh upon you. So this would let you know that there are people that aren't living in much distress and anguish because they've been serving white Jesus. These people are going to now be, they're definitely going to be in calamity, and the Most High, the true power, is going to mock them. Okay? Because desolation is coming now for the people who have enjoyed the last 500 years. And he's not going to save them. Let's go to 27 again. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. Okay? So the people who the Most High has raised up to lead you, you don't want to listen to right now. But once you realize the truth, then you'll be calling on the true power. And he already told you what his answer is going to be. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Most High. Is that not true right now? We're trying to give you guys knowledge. We're trying to give you primary sources, trying to show you where this white Jesus that you love so much came from. He just got introduced to you. He just got brought over here, and he was used to subdue your people. And you pray to this God all the way till today to keep your people in subjection. Again, 29. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Most High. They would none of my counsel. They despise all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. So the only way you're going to be getting through these plagues and the stuff that's to come, don't worry about your face mask, how many face masks you have, how many goggles you have, and how many suits you have, and how much money you have, and or how much food you have, or having your bug out locations. That stuff is not going to save you. Well, that's why it says right here, but whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. Worshipping the true power is the only way to be able to dwell safely. Just like now they realize that these are plagues of the Bible. Our people were right in the midst of all the occasions, all the things that were going on in Egypt. But the only thing that saved them was believing in the Most High, and that's exactly what's going to happen again right now. All praise is to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother, who is wisdom, who is the Holy Spirit. Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.